Let me know. How about now? Is it sound? Hamid? Okay, now sound should go through. And it was so important info that I shared so far. Okay, I can do it once again. So hello, and welcome. My name is Noemi. I'm the co-founder of Scalewave. Thank you so much for joining. And right now, I just got the info that there was no sound so far. Right now, it is sound. I can see the light blinking, which is amazing. First time happening in 70 sessions. Probably today it was the time to, mess this up. Appreciate so much for the feedback regards the sound. All right, cool. So we were talking about today's session. Today's session is going to last for 1 single hour. And during today's session, what we're going to do, we're going to answer Amazon PPC related questions, and we're going to focus on the beginner questions, because 5 years ago when I started on Amazon, I know that I asked all the questions. Thank you so much, Hamid, once again. You're amazing. Thank you for pointing that out. I asked all the questions, all the stupid questions, quote unquote, someone would put it. It was uneducated question. There are no such things. Doubling. Okay. So let me see. Now you're saying that it's doubling. It's the sound. You can hear it 2 times. Is that what you're referring to? Because right now on my end, literally it's... Yeah, I have the proper setup. Please let me know if this makes sense, or if you can hear me fine. Right now, if I'm going to open up my Instagram app, let's see, how do I sound like when I go live on Instagram? Really sorry about this, guys. It's the first time that we're facing a technical difficulty. It's okay. Not really, but yeah, we're going to go through. Let me see. And the live is not even showing up yet on my end. So I hope that still people can hear me. I'm not going to end my stream. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me well, because right now I just noticed that my mic was off, and someone told me that they couldn't hear me, and now they confirmed that they're hearing me, but the sound is doubling. All right, doing this for the 3rd time. It's okay. So hey, and welcome. My name is Noemi. I'm the co-founder of Scaleway, and today's session, we have dedicated a full hour for answering your Amazon PPC related questions. Long story short, I started, it's good now. Awesome. Thank you so much for confirming. So I started 5 years ago selling on Amazon as a private label seller, transitioned into agency. Basically, right now we are helping brands sell on Amazon with all the experience that I accumulated during my years of selling on Amazon. And today's session is dedicated specially for you. Yes, you who's listening right now. The reason for you to be here and the reason I'm creating this is because I want to make sure that your questions are being answered. I'm going to prioritize especially beginner questions, because 5 years ago when I started, I know how hard it was, that I did not have the right information, the right setting. I had here tits and bits of hacks and tips and tricks of whatever needs to be done, but I didn't have the whole. I didn't have the foundations, and I didn't understood what I am doing. So always whenever I did something, I thought that, yay, I know, I finally figured out. And 2 months in, and I just figured out that actually I did not have things figured out because I couldn't duplicate success. So the purpose for today's session is to make sure that that is not something that is going to happen to you. I'm going to answer questions, especially around Amazon PPC ads. Right now we are streaming on 3 channels, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also Instagram. And based on this, I'm going to answer right away the very first question, okay? How does PPC actually work on Amazon from impression to sale? All right, great question. The way how we are thinking of Amazon, how it works. Basically, if you have a product, if this is your product, if the blender blotter is your product, look, I also can show you like what I'm drinking, some type of mango juice I created for myself. So let's say that this is your product. If no one knows you, you would run advertising. You would run marketing campaigns for your product. Now, when you're selling on Amazon, you would achieve those with Amazon ads, right? So that's how you are going to create those impressions, basically eyeballs to your listings, into a purchase. This is how it works. And really important is that not only that you would be creating ads for your listings, but also you would assure that those ads are running properly and that you are not overspending on things that you should not. So when it comes down to once that you started running ads, then you would look at efficiency, and then you would look at scaling efficiency, the next step. Let me know if that answered your question. Second question, what kind of salary or income can someone realistically earn with Amazon PPC skills? So I would ask you, what are your current skills? Because based on that question, I might be able to answer or not. Reason why I'm saying this is because it really depends. Where are you on the skill level? We have 3 levels within ScaleWave. Probably other agencies or probably other people are like handling this differently, but I'm sharing the way how we are strategizing when it comes down to who we are hiring and how we are paying them. So it is the basic level, which is a junior. A junior should be really, really good at following step-by-step processes. The main skill set that this person would have is teachability and humility. These two are the main skill sets that we saw over and over again pick up and help so many people who barely had the skills, but they wanted to learn and they were trainable, right? So for that level, probably you're not going to get a lot of money, because right now what you're doing, you're just quote unquote giving your time away for learning a skill. Second, it's going to be the intermediate level. Now, the intermediate level already understands strategy a bit better, understand how Amazon ads work in this case, and also is able to create all the tasks that junior would do. So they are able to create campaign, to create reporting, to create to get things done to achieve the goal. Meaning, if we're going for profitability, they would be able to optimize the correct campaigns. If we're going to go for scalability, they would be able to create on their own new campaigns. So this is a person that already has the skills of a junior, but is just a bit more advanced. And the third level is going to be an advanced level. Now, this person should already be able to, they are bringing everything. They are bringing the strategy, they are bringing the how they would execute, and they don't necessarily have to execute. The intermediate or the junior can execute for them, but this is the strategies that sees the big picture, sees the quarterly, sees the yearly, and they can work backwards. Now, based on that, really, it's depending on where are you right now, because that's going to decide realistically how much can you charge for your services. When I started, this was in 2019, I believe, and I had 0 skills. I took one course that it was for private label brands, how to create your own private label. It lightly touched also on how to run your first ads. It was like how to create your first Amazon automatic campaign. And that was it, you know? So based on that, I was like, okay, I'm confident that I got the gist of it. I'm looking forward to help someone else, another brand, with that, with my level. And I basically was at this point still a junior because I was executing based on whatever I learned, right? So I did not know how to strategize. I did not know how to do advanced stuff, but I knew how to, I was better than the person who was running their brand on Amazon. So that was enough for me, right? And for everything, I charged $500, something like that. And here it included literally everything: packaging design, creatives, running their ads, inventory, SEO, so on. So as you can see here, I gave a lot of my time on allowing someone to have me on and execute on their behalf. Again, this is going to depend a lot on your skill set, but hopefully that made sense and help you give a better understanding of how would you charge. Okay. So question I'm facing: a high CPC issue, $5-6 on my single keyword. There are long tail keywords with good search volume and low competition according to the data dive tool. I'm selling the product at $32 according to market average price per count. The price is good. And the graphics are also strong, but content-wise, covering all required details and visually. What should I do at this point? So that's a great question. Let me think through with you. Because at this point, I think really, really important is that I want to be just upfront with you. There are certain categories where you would have to pay a lot upfront and where you would have to think of upfront value of the customer rather than present now value. So if $5 to $6 a cost per click for the one keyword and it's $32 the product, I'm assuming that at this point you're running at least a 200% ACOS if you're going for a 10% conversion rate, even higher. Which means that on the long term, is there a way for you to create additional value from whatever you're selling? For example, is there a subscribe and save option? Is there an option for you to create maybe to sell a 2-pack instead of the 1-pack, or to bundle them in such a way that you can bring up the average order value even if they would buy only one product? That is the one thing that I can think of right now. And also when it comes down to graphics are strong, compared to who? Compared to your best sellers? Is it strong enough compared to them? Did you run any peek-through test? Did you run any A/B testing? So you have clear data that is showing that to you. Why am I asking and why am I strategizing this way with you? Is because most of the time it can be that you are considering that everything is strong and everything is fixed. And right now the question, it comes from the point of view of I'm doing everything right. What else can I do? Really important whenever I personally have this point of approaching things, I'm always asking, do I really have data to back me up? Because the PPC issue, hey, your CPC is $5, $6, and the product cost is 30, that is math, right? So you understand that is math. And probably you might be running ads for something that is cheaper in that case, if it's possible, or bring up the average order value of the product in a way or another. But when it comes down to creatives, do you actually have data that your creatives are better? Why am I saying this? Is because most of the time what I'm seeing, Amazon is really a platform of convenience. So cheaper people can get a product, higher the likelihood that they are going to convert. I am yours truly. I am just shopping on Amazon, whatever I like. Hey, do I like the design? And also, is it cheap enough? Right now, probably I'm in this stage because this is what I could afford, right? If I'm going to do 100 millions, I'm not even looking at price. But technically, how many 100 millionaires are shopping on Amazon? There's a lower chance for them to shop on Amazon. So right now, if your customer cannot really afford to pay more, then creatives is the most single lever here that I've seen. It works way better if you're going to have proof and data. And even if you're going to take your main image and you're comparing your main image against your competitors and see, hey, am I actually winning when it comes down to the click itself? Because what can happen in this case is that $5 or $6, especially if it's so high compared to your price, retail price, the plan there is to convert quicker. So what is our action plan for us to convert quicker? This is how I would go through it and look through and analyze the situation. Let me know if that helped. So let me take quickly screenshot. This is a really, really good question that you asked, by the way, and just want to make sure that it was properly answered. All right, cool. So next question is, Amazon is charging me per click, not suggesting. I am getting orders, but my ACOS is very high, 270%. I have tested. Yeah, I was assuming that you're getting that type of ACOS because even with a 10% conversion rate, that's what you would get. I'm reading through your question, but my ACOS is very high, 270%. I have tested all types of sponsored product campaigns with proper negation. Okay, in almost every campaign type, I'm getting CPCs around $5 to $6, which is far too high compared to my product price threshold. From the advertising side, I'm not satisfied. One order, 7 click with high CPC. The product is vitamin. Ooh, okay, you told me everything. Supplements is the roughest and toughest, and it's really the long term. It's really, you cannot convert right away. Supplements, this is something that, especially supplements and beauty brands, whenever we are taking them over, they have the hardest time to understand that they are in it for the long term, because people are purchasing supplements, but the cost of supplements is subscribe and save, as I was mentioning, is making sure that you create a pathway for yourself to lower as much as possible your conversion, or increase as high as possible your conversion. So you're going to lower as much as possible your cost of conversion. And when it comes down to supplements, honestly, it's going to be, you cannot cheat the system. You cannot do anything for the system. Really, you have to learn how to play the system. And creatives is really my go-to when it comes down to that. So let me know if that helped. All right, next question. How does Amazon PPC automation work, and when does it make sense to use it? So when it comes down to Amazon PPC automation, the way how I'm seeing it, automation can be from within the ad console, or it can be you are using a tool to automate whatever you are currently working on. Giving you an example, if you're going to use Amazon's automation tools, they have specific automations for whenever they consider, like, they have budget rules. Whenever a campaign performs under or certain percent of ACOS, you are able to add a rule that you're going to increase the budget immediately. What else do they have? Even the fact that they would have offering the dynamic bidding up and down, that is still an automation process, I would say, because you are not anymore controlling the whole process. So then I would consider that that is an automation process from Amazon's end. When it comes down to tools, again, when it comes down to automation, the way I'm seeing it, and correct me if I'm wrong, or correct me if that is not what exactly you asked for. Right now, tools, when we're using tools, we're not using any automation software. Reason for that is because they are going to judge based on if-then statement, and they have no judgment. Giving you the easiest example, ChatGPT or Grok. We are using it within our company. Our teammates, they are using ChatGPT on a daily basis, even in client communication, even in how we report. We are using that constantly. Now, the tool itself is going to be only as smart or as dumb as you are. And I know that sounds bad, but that is the truth. So the moment that it's going to puke out information, you're still the end-all be-all decision maker to decide, is this tool actually, does this tool knows what it's talking about? Did it actually build up, augmented my own intelligence, or it just throwing out information? And it just executes based on whatever you told it. And this is also how I'm seeing automation tools work. They have a strict rule of if-then statement, but they have no judgment behind. And this is why it is really hard to handle automation tools if you don't have judgment behind. Unless you have more judgment behind, then you can say, okay, I can maybe create this automation in the tool, and then that is going to be my end-all be-all when it comes down to this decision. Usually we would not outsource thinking and strategizing to tools, just letting you know. And the question that ties nicely into what I was just talking about, how do dynamic bids work in Amazon, and when should they be used? Dynamic bids, basically what they are is, there are 3 bidding types. So there are the up and down bidding type, where you're allowing Amazon to, let's say if you are going to bid $1, they are going to increase or decrease the bid based on whatever they are considering that there is going to be a conversion. There is a down only bid, which is if you're again going to bid the $1, $1 is going to be your absolute highest threshold. So anything that is below that, you're going to get a CPC, right? And there's also fixed bid, which means that you're going to say Amazon, hey, here it is $1. I want to pay only $1. Then Amazon is not going to take more than the $1. Occasionally, it might take less than $1. And here again, I'm not sure why or like what is the strategy behind, because technically it should take the $1. But that is also a strategy that you can use when it comes down to bidding, especially whenever you want to show up on specific placements and you are also playing with placement modifier. Let me know if that helped. Okay. Which Amazon PPC management tools actually help with scaling and optimizing, or with optimization? Repeating your question, which Amazon PPC management tools actually help with scaling and optimization? Easiest, I'm going to again talk about the Ad Console and what we are finding in the Ad Console that is the most helpful when it comes down to first of scaling, because you were asking about scaling, is going to be really budgets. So budgets is your easiest lever. Then if you're going to increase or decrease, it's going to help with scaling or scaling profitably or not, really, an account. So budgets is the one thing. And then something else that I can think right now. Nothing on top of mind. That would be, probably there are. I'm just skipping things right now. But budgets is one of the things. And budgets can be on a campaign level, on an ad group level, on an ad type level, and on a portfolio level. And as well on an entire ad that you're running. And really important there, whenever you would use the budget for your entire account, especially from Amazon sites, they are going to have that budget only for sponsored product ads, not for sponsored brand, not for sponsored display. So if you have a monthly budget, or if you're aiming for a monthly budget for your brand, just make sure that you understand that that can go up to 25 to 100% higher than actually is right now. And also that is going to be applicable only for sponsored products. Sponsored brand and sponsored display, you don't have that limitation. So from there, you cannot control budget. When it comes down to optimization, really the first things I'm thinking of is bid optimization when it comes down to profitability, bid optimization when it comes down to keeping specific placements. So here we're talking about placement modifiers, product optimization when it comes down to adding multiple products within your campaign and then pausing products that are not performing well or not performing as expected. Keyword negation when it comes down to search terms. Those are the first that are top of mind right now. Probably those are the most important that I would personally look into. Let me know if that helped. Okay. So next question is, a product's BSR dropped 3,000 positions overnight from 1,500 to 4,500. But when you check the sales data, units sold remained stable at approximately the same level as past week trend. What is the most likely cause of this BSR drop? Listing split, maybe? That's the first thing I can think of. If there was any listing split, that might be causing it. But I would ask you actually this question, how important this is. Is this something that is affecting your sales? Because right now you clearly said that you are getting the same level of sales, or sales are, units sold remain stable. So if units sold remain stable, my question is this important? Is this something that the brand wants to know, or so on? Because then you might be looking into it. But if not, and if affected nothing, then I would just keep a note of it. And then whenever you see this happening again, look into what are the last things that happened in the last 24 to 48 hours on Amazon to my products or to my listings that might be able to cause that. And why am I saying that? Is this something that the brand is asking you to report on? Is because most of the time people are going to be focused on the least amount of helpful things ever that they can. And here, for example, if you're telling me, if I am the brand owner and you're telling me, hey, Danilai, if I made the same amount of sales or more sales or so on, I couldn't care less about the BSR drop, especially if it did not impacted my sales. Now, if you want to troubleshoot and find out what might have been the cause, I'm totally cool with that. But my end goal, end all be all goal is to, if I have for this quarter to hit a 20 or 30% increase and we are increasing aggressively, are we achieving that? Yes. So then I would not even go into like what happened and so on. And this comes from an over optimizer and over analyzer. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? All right, cool. So next question, how keywords work in PPC? How keywords work in PPC? How do I put this the easiest way so it's easy for you to understand? Basically, anyone who is looking for a product to solve their needs on Amazon, they are going to type something in. And that is what we call search terms. So they are looking for one specific product with a search term. A search term could be color stage gel envy. This is something that it was on my table. I'm going to use it as prompt. So this is something that I would do on Amazon if I want to find this product. Now, keywords, when it comes down to keywords, are things that you are bidding on. Search terms are the terms that someone would look up your product. When it comes down to search term and keywords, you have different option on how to advertise keywords. You can advertise keywords that are in exact match. This means that whenever someone is going to write down the color stage gel envy, diamond top coat, the search term that they are looking for, it's going to bring them to this product, and that is going to be an exact match. If you're going to, again, the same keyword, color stage gel envy, diamond top coat, advertise for it, and if you're going to advertise in anything else but exact match, maybe a broad match, maybe a phrase match, maybe a broad modified match, all the search terms that are going to come up for this product are highly likely not going to be the exact match of the keyword that they're advertising for. Let me know if that helped. Is your agency only giving the services of PPC, or you're managing the catalog as well? So we manage, basically we are managing ads, but we also have project-based work. So if there's a catalog work that needs to be done, or if there's design work that needs to be done, we are going to take over those as well, but they are separate projects. And what we've seen so far, that is something that with the current brands that we're managing is the best, because Amazon PPC is just one of the levers. Catalog and design are going to be highly dependable, or like our results are going to be highly dependable on those two things especially. So that's the current brand that we are managing. We're also offering that as service. Why? Are you interested? Let me know. Drop a comment below. Okay, cool. So how do large 8-figure Amazon brands typically structure their PPC strategy? Amazing. So what I'm seeing, especially bigger brands that we're managing structure, it's not as much about their advertising, but it's also about their inventory, and they know their limits. They see forward, they see more in the future. Now, this is not a guarantee if you're an 8-figure brand that you're going to see that or have that, because you also talk to many brand owners who had lots of SKUs, and they were making 7+ figures, per month. But what we noticed is that they were just not good business people generally, But the brands that are really handling well this, and that they are getting to the 8 figures, the way how they're structuring their PPC strategy is that they understand that not only at the bottom of the funnel they should be spending, but they are spending higher and higher at the top of the. This is something that I'm seeing more and more brands do. And top of funnel can also mean not only PPC ads, it can be DSP, it can be MC, it can be like mixed up with something else, but it can also be, hey, I am going to advertise to, maybe I'm going to use Google ads, I'm going to use Facebook ads, I'm going to use Instagram ads, Pinterest ads, and so on and so forth. So they also have that ability that eventually it's still going to roll into our PPC ads. Let me explain. For example, when we would be running for these ads brand defense campaigns, even if they advertised on Google or even if they advertised on Instagram, someone who's considering their product, if they are selling, so they're advertising on Instagram and then they have the landing page that is their website and so on, and from there you can buy. But I myself, and it's probably like more people like I am in this world, whenever I'm seeing this, because I am such an avid Amazon shopper, I'm going to say, hey, is this brand actually selling their products on Amazon? And I would rather buy from Amazon. So that basically the step is conversion from Instagram ads on their website, and then from their website they navigate to Amazon, and probably they're going to look for that brand name, right? And then the conversion is going to happen on the Amazon PPC end with that brand name. Because you're advertising for it, they're going to find you. So the way I'm seeing it, it's much more, instead of just Amazon ads and the slowest level, it's how do I create such a good structure for my Amazon ads, and how do I also have brand defense that in case that I'm running ads on different other channels and platforms, whenever they are going to find me, whenever they are looking for me on Amazon, for example, they are going to find me on Amazon. So that is just one of the strategies that right now I'm seeing, and it's successful when it comes down to how they're structuring their PPC strategy. Let me know if it helps. Can you explain how Amazon PPC works in a simple, practical way? Yes, basically you're creating demand for a product. This is how it works. Whenever you have something to sell, I'm going to showcase now a different product, so you know what I was up to these days. Essence Nail Art Express Dry Drops. This is something that I just purchased. So for example, if someone is looking for a product like this one, I think that I was looking up with the exact search term, quick nail polish dryer, something like, or oil nail polish dryer. That was the exact search term, oil nail polish dryer, because I had a product similar to this one back in Austria 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. And I was curious to see, hey, is there such a product also here on Amazon? Can I buy it right away? And this was the product that was the best when it comes down to price. It was exactly with the dropper that I love, and yeah, the size as well. So I decided to buy it. Basically what I did, I was looking for my problem to be solved. I looked up on Amazon, found the product that I believe that is going to solve my problem, and I purchased it. So that's a super high level of how do Amazon ads work in a simple and practical way. I'm currently working as a catalog manager. Can I work with you? I love it. Yeah, so right now we have someone on the catalog team. We are not looking right now for anyone, but more than happy to see how they work and so on. Reason for that, honestly, is like there are so many good people out there, and at this point I'm just like, hey, if we found someone that we enjoy working with, let's do it. Okay, next question is, at what point should we reduce bids to control ad spend without losing the placements that we are generating orders? In which scenarios should we test different ad placements? How to use? Okay, so you have quite a few questions in this packed up. Okay, let me take a screenshot to ensure that I'm going to answer all your questions, and then I'm going to answer them one by one. Okay, so at what point should we reduce bids to control ad spend without losing the placements that are generating orders? You should be reducing bids not as much when it comes down to without losing the placements, but when you are asking that question, the first thing that comes to mind is how quickly are you reducing the bids, and what is the gap that you're reducing? Reason for that, if you're going to make a 5-cent reduction or a 5% reduction, it's highly likely that it's still going to keep you on the same placement, rather than if you're going to do a 20%, 50% cut on the bid, that is highly likely that it's going to bring you down to product pages or rest of search, in case that you've been on top of search placement. I think your question should be more along the, it's not as much about control. It's about what you can keep, or it's not about losing control, but where can you keep the control? And if you know there are certain placements that are working fine for you, rather I would focus on which are the placements that right now are working best for me, and can I replicate the same success? Because right now I feel that the question redirects to how to be more efficient, when it's not about efficiency, it's about doubling down on what works. Because think of it this way: if you're doubling down on what works, you are automatically going to become more efficient. So I would ask back to your questions, how to reduce bids to control ads without losing placements that are generating orders. I would ask you, which are the keywords and which are the placements that right now work well for you? Don't touch them. And then see in other campaigns, is there a way for me to, on this specific placement, to generate same results as I did for the previous campaigns? Because keep in mind, right now we are in just a very, very like narrow, super specific topic, which is placements, right? At this point, I don't even know that for a specific placement, let's say it's branded keywords, top of search for branded keywords is always outperform, right? When it comes down to product pages, it's going to always perform whenever it is a branded product or whenever it's a cheaper product. So then the way how I would strategize this is rather look at what works right now and how can you mimic that, and everything else that is right now bleeding money, just take away budget from it and focus on optimizing those rather than the ones that are already working for you. Let me know if that helped. Right, test different. In which scenario should we test different ad placements? You should test different ad placements when you maximize whatever already worked for you. So in this case, it just ties back really well with what I was just saying a few moments ago. If you already see that one placement specifically works really, really well for you, you would just first double down on that. And when it comes down to testing, test it, but don't test it to, with more than 10% of your total monthly budget. Okay, next question. How do I properly set up an Amazon PPC campaign from scratch? Beginner question I'm going to answer because that's why we are here. Amazing. So how do I properly set up an Amazon PPC campaign from scratch? You would set up properly an Amazon PPC campaign from scratch by answering this question: what is the strategy behind your campaign? No matter what you're setting up, no matter how you're setting it up, no matter how brilliant you are in execution, if you don't understand what is the strategy behind, besides just getting sales, what you're going to end up with is false positives. Is if the campaign was set up properly, technically, from a technical point of view, you might think that you nailed it and you got success and you can replicate success. When in fact, what I learned for the past 5 years of doing this day in, day out, is the reps. So did I create patterns, easily recognizable patterns for myself to know when am I doing something wrong? How quickly should I adjust? How quickly should I iterate? How quickly should I pause something? So this point, if you already know what is the strategy behind, which usually can be either you are going to target exact match keywords, that is rank strategy, what we're calling here at ScaleWave. Either you're going to discover new keywords, which is going to be anything but exact matches when it comes down to keywords like exact match keyword, or when it comes down to product targets, exact product targets. So everything that's broad match, phrase match, broad modified, category, those are discovery campaigns. So you're going to find new keywords for yourself. Either you're going to make sure that you're dominating specific placements where your ads are performing well. Either you are simply just going to defend your brand by brand defense keyword. You're going to bid on those. Either you're going to go after someone else's brand. So you're going to do conquer campaigns for brands, especially where you see that you have a competitive advantage and also the advertising, it's not costing you much. The moment that you see that the Conquer campaigns are becoming very expensive. Those are not anymore conquer campaigns. Those are really hardcore. I want to take over market share. Conquer campaigns is wherever I have advantage of and I can piggyback on an unoptimized listing where I have advantage against, right? So let me know if that answered your question. But basically, I do have super walkthrough, like this is how you're creating the auto campaigns, this is how you're creating the manual campaigns, this is how you would create sponsor brands, sponsor products, sponsor display ads. Go to my YouTube channel because I am walking you through to a tutorial so you can see visually and click the right things. But before you would be doing that, you have to understand that there must be a strategy behind. Oh, I love the question. So what are the biggest lessons learned after spending money on PPC? The first lesson that is the biggest is that the false evidence that you have things figured out, and it took humility on my end to figure out this, but whenever I believe that I have things figured out, somehow Amazon is always showing me that I don't. And giving you a clear example, a strategy might work really well for some time, but Amazon is always doing modifications on the back end. Giving you a super clear example, branded, like exact match keywords. Beforehand, whenever you were targeting exact match keywords, you were getting exact search terms with the exact match keywords. Then Amazon introduced synonyms, which is technically, it's not anymore an exact match. However, they are handling it as exact match. Hence, anything that you had control over, right now you cannot have any more control over because you're being shown for synonyms, right? So that is one of the things. The second thing that I learned spending money on Amazon is that it takes money to make money. And sometimes it's all about how quickly can you gather the data that you need in order to move forward or not. Sometimes when it comes down even to brands to prove a point and to bring data to their decision, we even go through and create these test campaigns that we're running and showing them, hey, look, we are investing in your top performing, like top most relevant keyword, and you're still not converting because they are, hey, this worked 2 years ago, why it's not working now? And we're showing them that someone else is going to get market share because they have better listings, they have better creatives, they have their product resonates with the audience. And then no matter what we're doing on our end, ads is just simply traffic. We are running traffic towards a product. So that is also something that I learned, that sometimes we have to create these control tests where we are going to spend a certain amount of money just to show them, prove them that, hey, we want to replicate the success that you saw 2 years ago. Right now it's not working, and this is the reason why. I think those are plenty enough. Okay, one more question in the chat. Man, I'm all red. I'm so warm, but by the way, super, super warm right now. We're streaming from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and my AC is off. And 49 minutes, my AC is off because it's going to be this sound in the background. So appreciate this blush. Next question, how do I download PPC invoices from Amazon for accounting purposes? You would go in the payment section on the ad console and look up invoices. I think that's how it's called right now. I did not do this step for a while, but there should be a way, billing, I think billing information or something like that. That's how it's called. Let me know if you found it. If not, more than happy to have our project coordinator just or create a copy. Next question, how does PPC work for Kindle books compared to... Wait, I don't even see if people are still watching. Okay, people are still good on Instagram. Cool. Your question is, how does PPC work for Kindle books compared to physical products? The only difference that I'm seeing right now, because we also are managing KDB accounts, the only strategy that I'm seeing right now is royalty-based, and also that it takes up to 2 months to get paid, which is a pain. It's very similar to the Amazon influencer process, where they must, it's royalty based, right? So they must make sure that the sale actually happened. That is something that I'm noticing on my end. That is one of the things. And the second thing that is really, really important is your margins are going to work just a bit different, because right now you have a commission based on all the sales. But when it comes down to the technical setup, it's going to be exactly the same like for physical products. What are the most effective ways to increase sales using PPC? Effective ways. Iterate quickly. That's the first advice I would give you. Iterate very quickly when it comes down to generating data to see what works and what does not. And I know that this is not the latest hack, the latest tip, latest trick, but this is something that we've seen working successfully. And I personally seen working successfully for the past 5 years since I've been touching my first Amazon PPC ad. That is one of the ways how you can increase sales effectively. Test so you can pause quickly in case that's not working. Second thing is going to be never run out of stock. I know this is something that most people are not even thinking of. Right now, to be upfront with you, we actually had a few combos with one of the brands that we're managing. We've been managing their ads for 3 years, 4 years right now, so they're amazing. And we absolutely love working with them. Having a strong operator, it's just so amazing when it comes down to bigger brands. But what we're seeing so far is that they're always, because Amazon is just only the one channel they're selling on, and if we don't have inventory what to sell, we cannot strategize for more than 5 to 10% increase in sales, and then they are running out of inventory. So if inventory is not figured out properly, no matter how good the strategies is behind, no matter how good is the operator behind, no matter how much money do you spend in ads, what we've seen, literally because this business it's highly dependent on inventory, it's just going to be, that's the bottleneck, So inventory is one of the things that can, if you're going to apply it correctly, it's going to increase sales using PPC. These two are on top of mind right now. Probably there are more. Okay, so the question is, what should be done if a product is in a highly competitive market and even PPC campaigns are not performing well with no strategy or campaign type delivering good results? I will zoom out for clarity and really understand why are you in the market. And I'm talking to, maybe if you're the PPC manager, you do want to make it work. But if you're the brand owner, and yeah, honest discussion with you, we've been selling for 2 or 3 years our products in the pet niche. And literally, I was super reliant on Amazon ads. That was one of the main sources of income for us. And there were more and more and more knockoff products of what we sold. And we were selling this around $30, something like that. And they were just releasing products that same as ours or similar to ours. That was $9, $10 even. So CPC wise, technically they did not even make money, but they were manufacturing from China and they were the manufacturer that sold the product. And what we've come through the realization is that if we want to compete on Amazon, and if we have this type of competitions, and if the niche is so competitive, because keep in mind that most niches are competitive, can you zoom out for clarity and understand how long can you go with a negative profit or with something that is not converting, if you're willing to do it or not? Because getting back to our brand, honestly, that was one of the things that I was like, hey, I'm so good on advertising and I'm still struggling just because nothing seems to work or nothing seems to work as well as previously did. And I just pulled the plug on the brand and we're not selling it anymore on Amazon. And this is something that is coming from me, who's managing brands on Amazon. And yeah, those brands are successful on Amazon. That's why I'm saying that at some point it really comes down to you as a brand owner to see, hey, realistically, can I make more? Do I want to make more? Do I want to be more creative? Because at that point, I was literally like, hey, I love agency life. I love creating systems. I love creating processes. I want to transition into this because really my heart is there. And the private label brand, it was a great process for me to learn all those things. But back then it was just, I don't want to create any more new product lines and think of those. And that did not excite me. That did not excite me from the first place. It was just, hey, this is a cool way for me to learn business skills. Let's do it. And it was the first thing, and let's do it, and so on. So that's what I'm saying. If you're a brand owner, just think through, can you still make the product profitable or not? Because at this point, again, I don't know your how do you call it? I don't know your context. I don't know what do you mean by a product is highly competitive market. Even if I realize, okay, product highly competitive market could mean that there are so many people who are selling the same product as you are, and you might not have any advantage maybe. And PPC campaigns are not performing well. Again, define what performs well. In this case, is this a product launch? Is this not a product launch, and so on. But as a very zoomed out view, that is the first thing that I would tell you as the brand owner. Does it make sense to keep this product on or not? Because with the same effort, if you're really good at outsourcing products and if you have really good networking and good with suppliers and so on, and you enjoy doing this, it's no-brainer that they're going to replicate the same process but for a different product. So let me know if that answered your question. All right. Okay, so I got a similar questions to this one that I just answered. And it was, if the product still doesn't generate sales even after lowering the price despite having a well-optimized product detail page, what steps should be taken? Yeah, I think that this is the same person who submitted the previous question. That is my answer. And certainly hope that you appreciate that I came from the point of view of, hey, I've done that. And this is how it worked for me. Okay, cool. Questions on Instagram, love it. Okay. Honestly, I'm not even sure. Probably we get more questions on Instagram. I'm just not paying attention because I'm looking all over the place. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. The question came in. And also this person started to follow me. So amazing. Cool. Some people say, this is your question. Some people say, let me arrange my hair. Some people say that if a keyword performs well in auto or broad campaigns, we should move it to exact match campaign, but keep it running in auto as well. Others say that if a keyword performs well in auto, and probably you meant to say to keep it within the same campaign, or to negate it from the campaign and then move it into its own campaign. I am the first. I am in the first group that's going to tell you that if it generates profitable sales, what I would do, or what we are doing in the agency, is we're going to move that within its own campaign and see how it's going to perform the moment that it's going to be allocated its own budget, so we have as much control as possible. Now, keep in mind that here what we're looking for is not as much as hoping for the same process or success, but we are looking for ranking for that specific keyword that it's working well for us. Also, we have to define what working well for us means. In this case, if it generated the 1 sale, the 2 sales, I would not consider that it's working well. If during the last 30 days, at least generating 10 to 15 sales, I would consider that keyword it's working well, or that search term is working well. Let's move it into its own campaign. So based on those, I think it's really important to know first off what working well is, so define that. And then the second thing is never negate it from wherever it was fine, because what is going to happen is that there's no way for you to be sure that you can duplicate success. Okay. And we are, yes, it's 2 o'clock. It's interesting. We're still live on Instagram. Ooh, my baby's kicking. We are still live on Instagram. Everyone is watching. Interesting, because usually Instagram is like always shutting us down whenever it's 1 hour. Still goes by. All right. Well, thank you so much for submitting all the questions. These were amazing questions, and appreciate so much that, yeah, for the time here with me. Again, my name is Noemi. I am the co-founder of Scale, where we are helping brands sell on Amazon successfully with Amazon PPC ads. If this was interesting at all, feel free to book a quick call with me. We are going to go just through step-by-step process of what is going on right now within your brand. If you're already running ads, if you're planning to launch on Amazon, or planning to bring your product on Amazon, or planning to do anything else ads related on Amazon, still feel free to book a call. We'll be more than happy to find out more about you and your brand. That being said, these are sessions that are going to repeat every Tuesday. And by repeat is like it's a new session with new questions submitted and so on. But the purpose behind is that we have something that is consistent, that is going to work, and that is going to give you a light, hope at the end of the light. Because again, I was you 5 years ago, and I know that it sucks whenever you are asking all the questions and you don't know which are the right questions, which are the questions that you should not prioritize, and which are the things that actually are going to help you move forward. That being said, thanks so much for watching. See you next Tuesday, when I'm going to be back the same time, 1 p.m. EST, and the same day, Tuesday. Take care. Bye.